Let us now look at the interpretation of international treaties. International treaties are formal agreements between sovereign states or countries. These treaties can be on a wide variety of subjects like trade, culture, human rights, environment. They can also be peace treaties, either to end an existing conflict or to prevent future hostilities. Treaties can have a significant role in the foreign trade policies and international legal obligations of a country, and they can also significantly influence national laws. For example, India is a party to several international agreements under the World Trade Organization, and on the basis of these agreements, changes have been made to our trade policies, our intellectual property laws, and our regulatory standards as well. International treaties can be bilateral, that is, between two countries, or they can be multilateral, that is, between three or more sovereign states. The Vienna Convention on the Law of Treaties is the key international agreement that provides a comprehensive framework for the creation, interpretation, and enforcement of treaties. Section 3 of this document specifically covers the interpretation of treaties. Under Article 31, General Rule of Interpretation, Article 32, Supplementary Means of Interpretation, and Article 33, Interpretation of Treaties authenticated in two or more languages. Article 31 says that the treaty should be interpreted in good faith, and the ordinary or normal meanings should be given to the terms used in the treaty. Only if the parties to the treaty specifically intended to do so, special meaning should be given to any terms. While interpreting the treaty, the complete text should be taken into consideration, including the preamble and any annexes. Also to be considered during the interpretation are any other agreements made by the parties in the process of concluding the treaty, and any agreements made by the parties after the conclusion of the treaty, as long as all the parties to the treaty accept all these other agreements. One more important point to be taken into consideration while interpreting treaties is any international laws that are applicable in the situation. Article 32 talks about any other supplementary material, including the preparatory work for the treaty that can be used for subsequent interpretation, if the interpretation under Article 31 is leading to an ambiguous, absurd, or unreasonable meaning. And Article 33 addresses situations where a treaty has been authenticated in multiple languages, which may be the official languages of the respective countries. It simply says that every authenticated version will be valid, irrespective of the language, if these different versions are as agreed at the time of the original conclusion of the treaty. If subsequent interpretation is leading to a different interpretation of the different language versions of the treaty, then the interpretation that best reconciles these different versions will be adopted, as long as this interpretation is still in accordance with the object and purpose of the original treaty. For example, if a treaty between England and France was concluded in English and French versions, and both versions were agreed and concluded upon originally, and many years later, due to changes in the language or other changes in the society, there is a difference in the interpretation of the different versions of the treaty, then the interpretation that best reconciles these different versions will be adopted, as long as this new interpretation is still meeting the object and purpose of the original treaty.